Hi everyone, I'm Scott and welcome to another episode of The Unlikely Beak. A few weeks ago, I put out a video, and in that video, I guess I talked a little bit too much about a car accident that I was in, and I wasn't supposed to do that, so I was asked to take the video down. And as a result, today I am back making another video in which I do not talk about the things that I talked about too much in that previous video, and to add in a video clip that I have that shows the process in which I used to make a winter feed for my bees known as cold fondant. Now, before I roll that clip, I do want to say a couple of things about the cold fondant that I made that some people don't agree with, and that's okay that they don't agree with it. Beekeepers are no different than any other group of people. Some of them do not play well with others, and everybody has an opinion about particular things, and beekeepers are no exception to that. And as a result, some people disagree with some statements that I made about the cold fondant, and again, that's okay. I don't care if they disagree. They're free to do that. The heating method of making fondant definitely does a better job of converting that sugar into simple sugars. However, the citric acid that you add to the cold fondant also will do the same inversion of those sugars, just probably not as well or not as thorough, and definitely takes way longer than it would if you were using heat. But the science is out there. Look it up for yourself if you don't believe me. At the end of the day, both methods deliver carbohydrates to the bees at a time of the year that we cannot feed them liquid, at least not in the part of the country that I live in. So as I mentioned, I have a clip of the method in which I used to make the cold fondant. I'm really very happy and pleased with how it turned out. It's been on the colonies for about 2 weeks now, so hopefully there'll be a warmer day later in the month or at the beginning of next month that I can check on it to see if they're ready for another patty. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. So I started off here with a 13-gallon grain mill that I picked up on Amazon for around $100 or so. It comes with a set of sieves, although its smallest sieve is still too large to make powdered sugar, so I ended up purchasing a 1mm sieve separately for around $15 or so, and it was, pretty easy to install. And then the hopper here holds probably around 25 pounds of sugar or so. I ended up using 29 pounds of sugar. The whole process to mill it into powdered sugar was about 25 minutes. And as you can see, it made perfect powdered sugar. I was really super happy with the outcome and the process. So here I'm adding in a little bit of citric acid, as well as some homemade Honeybee Healthy. I think I used maybe about 6 milliliters of Honeybee Healthy. And then I just decided that I was going to use store-bought honey, but you could use your own honey, or even if you wanted to just mix up a really thick sugar syrup or something, you could do that. It really doesn't matter. I just decided that it was easier for me to use store-bought honey. The mixture actually ended up being a little thicker than I needed it to be, so I think I added an additional cup, maybe a cup and a half of water. I didn't measure it or anything, I eyeballed it. I know I definitely didn't use more than a cup or a cup and a half, and it ended up being the right amount of liquid, and the entire fondant just came together perfectly. So as you can see here, initially it was like I said, a really thick cookie dough, but after I added the water, it smoothed out really nicely. The entire mix time was maybe 20-25 minutes. It was absolutely perfect, and I ended up making 17 2.5-pound patties, and the entire process was just super easy. So I hope you enjoyed that video clip on how I made cold fondant for my bees this winter. I am definitely not done making it. I'll probably make 1 or 2 more rounds of it. It'll really just depend on how fast the bees are eating it, and what our late winter, early spring shapes up weather-wise, as to whether or not they're even going to need it. Really am very pleased with how it turned out and the entire process in which I used to make it. There are a few things I might do differently next time. I might mix the citric acid with the water versus just adding it into the dry sugar. And I might possibly use a thick sugar syrup in place of the honey. Not 100% sure about that one yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to dissolve the citric acid into the water. So we're going to finish the video today with a quick update. We went into winter with 14 colonies, and as of about 2 weeks ago, all 14 colonies were still alive and well. We definitely will have our fingers crossed that that will continue to be the case. Although the worst of our winter is yet to come, especially temperature-wise, and it's always definitely more difficult for the bees to sustain their numbers and to survive some of these prolonged periods of very cold and extreme temperatures. So we'll just have to see how all of that shakes out come spring, but we're definitely optimistic. All the colonies looked very good number-wise, population-wise, and as a beekeeper, I've been doing everything that I can possibly do to provide them the best possible chance for survival. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.